Aloha and good morning. Today we're going to talk about a series of different booby traps. And booby traps, as we all know, those are things that you really don't know that are there. And once you find out about a booby trap, it's real simple. What you do is what? Negotiate it. So one of the big booby traps that is most common in almost every person there is the number one disease that's actually on the planet. And what do you think that is? It's chronic dehydration. When you look at most of all diseases, they're all related to many different variables, but the number one variable is hydration. Remember, your body's 18 gallons of salt water, okay? 18 gallons. So, the body's just a big water bottle. Now, once you see that your body really thrives off of liquids, okay? Liquids. This is blue-green algae, and I've got minerals in there, silica. Your body thrives off of hydration. It falls apart when it gets dehydrated. So we go over this a lot, but the booby trap that we're trying to get across to you is, remember, problems, reactions. Reactions are you get sick and tired, you get overweight, you get depressed, you have gastroenteritis, GI problems, flatulence, headaches, malaise, okay, dizziness, all the things that come with chronic dehydration. Now, when you get any type of incurable disease now, all that means is that now you're chronically dehydrated, and what does that lead to? That leads of your body getting sticky and clogging. If your body gets sticky and cloggy, then what happens is that nothing can get out. So, this is a very important booby trap to understand. And how do you solutionize it? Remember, problems, not drinking enough water, enough liquids. Reaction, sickness, all the different types. Simple solutions. Simple solutions. What do we do to actually dodge and negotiate this booby trap? Simple. Drink about 150 ounces of liquids a day. And drink a different, variety of different liquids. We go over this a lot. Smoothies in my book are liquid still. Okay, you're really trying to terrain modify your hydration level. And remember, there's 30 different departments in terrain modification. It's not just talking about hydration. It's not just your pH. It's not just conductivity of your cells. It's not just toxicity that's accumulated in all of us. It's not about plasticizers or just dental amalgam fillings or electrical magnetic fields. So, one of the other big booby traps I'll show you is, this is a tri-field meter that I make here, Earthshift here, and what this does is it tests different types of radiation. Okay, so that's another booby trap. I'll show you just by driving the car. You have to be aware of your terrain, aware of your surroundings. The reason I brought up the electrical magnetics is because when you're chronically dehydrated, you're working in electricity all the time. And electricity means that you're not an electrician. It means you're working in electricity. Electrical magnetic fields, driving cars, trucks. Okay, there's an electrical magnetic field that's on my phone. There's an electrical magnetic field that's on my computer. There's an electrical magnetic field that's on the wires that's actually giving you power. Every electrical source has an electrical magnetic field. Now, most of the magnetic fields are not good for us because they're not harmonious with our magnetic field. So when you're dry, your body basically becomes more dehydrated when it's around electrical fields, and the concentration of heavy metals that are in your body and or different types of particles now are excited by the electrical magnetic fields. So that's a big problem. So washing out the body, keeping it hydrated, like I said, a variety of different liquids. Look up Dr. Robert Cassar, Liquids of Vitality. Smoothies. I have my breakfast tea this morning. Okay, and then personally, I have liquids all day, and I have my meal at night. And if I do have some cooked food, well, I'm having cooked food that is super good for me still. And I try to, get about 80% at least raw, but not raw only, but live foods. I use the cooked foods like sauteed mushrooms or purple onions or anything like that as toppings to my soups that I make, and different types of salad dressings that I put together. I use the toppings, take some pine nuts, different things, and actually, toast them up a little bit, give it super flavor. So again, hydration, okay, leads to pretty much all the diseases. So lick that disease. And you may not think you're chronically dehydrated, but you are. One of the best ways, not only drinking, remember, 150 ounces of liquids a day, but as soon as you get up in the morning, as soon as you get up, try to drink at least half of this. This is about a 64 ounce jar, so I'll drink about 25 sips to 30 sips of, I do distilled water in the morning. Distilled water is not bad for you, so don't let anybody tell you it is. There's a lot of disinformation in a lot of places, and a lot of times we're confused, and when we're confused, we don't do much. So, part of a lot of the talks that I'm trying to share are my experiences, gone through massive regeneration, okay, from my injuries that I previously had, not only physical, like I said, but also mentally, emotionally, electronically or magnetically. So, our bodies are an accumulation of many different things. So, when we're dry, we accumulate on not only physical things, but we accumulate emotional things, because when you're dry, you're sick and you're tired, so you don't want to exercise, you don't want to do anything that's going to make flow. So you can see how this is a super cascade of sickness and starting and precursor of sickness just because you're not drinking enough fluids. So, like I said, in the morning, soon as you get up, first thing is you drink 30 sips of water. And then what I do is about 10 or 15 minutes later, I'll drink another 30 sips of water. Now my body's not only hydrated from sweating at night, let's say, urinating 2 or 3 times if you did at night and you didn't drink water to replenish your body, well, then in the morning you're dehydrated. That's why you got bad breath, remember? That's why you are constipated in the morning. Why? It's because you're dehydrated. So, one of the things that really helped me clean me is understanding that water in the day is hydrational. And when I take water at night, it turns into a solvent. So in the day, it's a hydrant. It hydrates me. And at night, what it does is it works as a solvent. A solvent meaning that it's cleaning me up. It's dissolving different things. That's why I like to drink distilled water, especially at night, because the inorganic solids in my system start to go ahead and get magnetically attracted to this dry water, and it cleans me out. I get my minerals through my foods. I get my minerals. I add minerals to my water. Remember, I put minerals in here in the blue-green. Okay, so I don't want to hear the hocus pocus about distilled water is going to make you brittle. It's not true. So it's all a matter of opinion. Do your research. Do your homework. One last thing before we sign off. I'm going to stretch class, and I'm going to go stretch my water body. And I've already, like I said, drank 64 ounces minimum of liquids. Now, the best way that I've found to use the water as a solvent is, before I go to bed, if I have a little food in my stomach, then I'm going to still drink water, but I'm going to drink water with a half a squeezed lemon in there, because it's got acid in it. It won't stop my digestion. If I have no food in my stomach pretty much for about 2 hours, then I'm just going to drink a big glass of distilled water, about 30 sips again. I'm going to have water next to my toilet or wherever I'm urinating, because when I urinate, I'm going to drink another 30 swallows. And I'm going to have to get up in about an hour, hour and a half. Remember, this is a therapeutic cleansing. So yeah, you have to get up. Don't open your eyes too much. Don't turn the lights on. Keep a little night light in your bathroom, wherever you're going in the bathroom. And or pee in a big jar, so you can go ahead and see all the garbage that comes out of you, the mucus, and all the weird stuff that the solvent, the distilled water, cleaned you while you were sleeping. Remember, it's a solvent while you sleep because you're not using it. It just sits in there and it works. It's not getting, you're not breathing it out, you're not using it as a functional status for physiological metabolism. You're actually using it now as a solvent for cleansing. So I've done that. Urination, drink water, urination, drink water, a dozen times, several times when I was going through my deep cleansings. So if you can put up with getting up and, like I said, pee in a bottle or just pee in the toilet, but don't flush it. Just keep on going on top of each other. So you can look in the morning, the stuff that's floating on the top of the water. So you can look in the morning and see the cloudiness. It's best to do it in a jar and you shine a light through it. So, and smell it too. Take its pH, and you'll notice that your pH is very acid. It's not alkaline. It's why? Because it's cleaning at night. And if you pee in a jar and you test its pH during the day, then most likely your urine's going to be way more alkaline, especially if you haven't eaten. So, remember, nighttime is to get out poisons and contaminants and actually dissolve some of the foods that's sitting in your stomach. Especially, like I said, if you're eating meat or any flesh, make sure you're having grass-fed organic. But the big picture is learning how to eat food, including flesh, is very smart because, remember, you're, again, hydrating yourself. So just chew the food and make sure that the only thing you swallow is the saliva. It's said in maybe, teens of books from the ancients, including the Book of the Essenes. Real simple. You only swallow the juice. Everything else that you can't break down to saliva, spit it out. So it's going to take you a little while to eat. You don't just swallow smoothies just because it's quick and convenient. You slowly drink them and swish it around in your mouth. Okay, that's enough on hydration. And like I said, the booby trap is very simple to cure. That's right, cure. And cure, to say that word in the state of California, if you're a physician, okay, is a felony. But I'm going to say it here. Why? Is because it's true. It's true. If you just hydrate yourself, you'll find out that a lot of the simple problems that you're having from feeling terrible, okay, is because you're dry. From feeling depressed, it's because you're dry. Okay? Your sexual organs aren't working. What do you think? They work on water. Everything's water. Blood, 90% water. Sperm, 90% water. Your body's 71% salt water. Okay, so everything's water. So what do? Water's the base, and you add minerals, silica. You use the water as a base for your smoothies. You use the water as a base for everything that you want to dissolve. Okay, that's enough. Hope you got it down. And I try to go over things a little bit over and over again, only because you got to get this through your head. Remember, it's a program. Once you see not the logic, but the truth, then you have to be very reasonable and be able to adapt this into your world. If you're not being logical, then you're being illogical. It's only because you think you know what you're talking about, and most likely you don't. So it's not that I know what I'm talking about. I'm only telling you my experiences, and my experiences have been in this area, detoxification and rejuvenation. Not just on myself, but I've seen over 100,000 plus patient office visits for neuromusculoskeletal, depression, gut, as a doctor of chiropractic, then getting into parasitology, learning that parasites were everything, but finding out that parasites only live in the body because of a few things. Why? Is because of toxicity, because your body's plugged. So I got into toxicology. And then I got into not just problems and reactions, but how do we solutionize this epidemic? Epidemic, 100 million obese people. That's an epidemic. 100 million diabetics, that's an epidemic. 50 million people taking antidepressants, that's an epidemic. Okay, autism, 1 out of 40 children, that's an epidemic. 1 out of 2 people will have cancer in their lifetime. That's an epidemic. Anyways, 160 pounds of sugar a year, average American, that's an epidemic. 40 gallons of soda a year, I don't know who's drinking my share, but that's an epidemic. It's actually very, not even ignorant, but it's very foolish. Take your clothes off, look in the mirror, and see if you've got the sickness, which is yeast, mold, fungus, and candida. And then, like I said, the best thing you can do is start washing yourself and getting yourself hydrated, breaking down your body so it's not so stiff and dense. So watch all the videos that we have, and even watch them again, because you can learn lots of stuff the second time around. Okay, going for stretch class, Saturday morning. Do something for yourself this weekend. All right? Buy yourself a tool this weekend. It's good for you to take care of yourself. It's good for you to love yourself. It's good for you to marvel at the miracle of nature. So go for a walk. Go for a hike. Go do something for yourself. Go for a swim. All right. Aloha. Okay. Bye.
Important reminder: all information and ideas are for informational purposes only and are in no way intended as medical advice or as a substitute for medical counseling. Earthshift Products, Dr. Robert Cassar, all of their partners, affiliates, and subsidiaries will not be held accountable for the use or misuse of the information presented therein. This information is not intended as medical advice. The authors, publishers, and speakers of this work are not medical doctors and do not recommend the use of mineral-deficient foods, drugs, or medicines to achieve beauty and to alleviate health challenges. Because there is always some risk involved, all persons involved with the development and distribution of this information are not responsible for any adverse effects or consequences of any kind resulting from the use or misuse of any suggestions or procedures described on our website or Earthshift Live radio talk show or therein.